Uh, it's respected GS Awana ji, former DCP, Delhi Police, and I would like to call sir on the podium to present the topic cyber crimes, and time duration is of 40 minutes. Sir, kindly come on the stage. We would love to welcome our inaugural speaker, Sir GS Awana ji. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Good morning, everybody. Justice Sardhana Sahab, Balbir Singh Sahab, Madam Neetu, इनकलाबी साहब और मेरे जितने भी यहाँ पे दोस्त आए हैं वो सब. So today I'll be talking about the shortcomings of the cyber crime cases. In fact, this subject is a subject which hardly anybody wanting to touch upon. It's a bit technical but not very difficult. So today I'll talking that a defense lawyer, what a defense lawyer should look for in a cyber crime case. What are the problems with the cyber crime case which may be advantageous to a defense lawyer? So straight away I am going to the slides without wasting time because time is quite limited. So the first thing is next. Jurisdictional issues. In cyber crime, the biggest problem is normally in conventional crime we have physical boundaries of the crime. But in cyber world, a person who is sitting in US or somewhere else may commit an offense in India. And it is very difficult to address such jurisdictional issues because that government may not be cooperating or sometimes they are taking lot of time to reply. And sometimes it also happens that in that country, the offense for which we are looking may not be the offense in that country. So these points can be utilized as a defense lawyer. There are places where we don't have any kind of treaty. So if we look at, yes sir, that particular country is not in your jurisdiction. So that may be one of the points. And sometimes what happens, we are not able to obtain the evidence legally. And in fact, illegally, if we obtain some evidence from there, that may not be admissible to the court. And of course, delays in responding those countries may be quite advantageous to the defense lawyer. And if it is prolonged kind of thing, then we can take advantage and at least we can move for bail and other things. Next. And here we have to look at legal, technical, procedural, and enforcement challenges. It may be problem with the legal or technical or procedural or some enforcement issues. So one should look for those issues also. Second thing, next, chain of custody is very important in case of cybercrime cases. Whether the evidence is properly collected, preserved, next, preserved and analyzed, and thereafter how it is presented to the court. That matters a lot. Cybercrime case evidence preservation is a big thing. If you have to seize a hard disk, how it has to be done? What software you would be using? How it has to be referred to the forensic? What question an IO is asking to reply by the cyber forensic scientist? Those things are always looked for. There may be problem in sending the evidence to the lab, not properly preserved, and even if he is getting some report, are you getting some report? That report may not be properly presented to the court. So we should look loopholes in these four areas. Any break of chain, custody chain, is very important to the counsel. There should not be any break in the chain. And generally, in most of the cases, problem is with the custody, chain of the custody. And there are protocols, there are standing orders, there are procedures by which one should seize the evidence. Whether those procedures were followed properly or not, it has to be seen. Next. As we all know, that our law enforcement agencies may not be so good in collecting the evidence, presenting, understanding those evidences. Police officer may take help of the experts, then again there is a problem of engaging the expert. That expert may not be of some use. What I have seen when I was in crime, generally the experts which we engaged were not worth, or they were not having that kind of understanding for the policing. So there is a lack of technical expertise among law enforcement agencies, and we should take advantage of that. We should always look for, we may question the IU, we may question the expert, how you have done it, you tell the entire thing, and he may not be. So one should get prepared to ask such questions. And of course, in previous lectures, in the second and first conference, I focused on electronic evidence. And in fact, electronic evidence is a very sensitive evidence. We should look at the procedure, what procedure really was adopted, what are the steps IO has missed. Generally, what happens, somebody else is writing the case diaries. IO may not be aware the procedures. We may always ask, okay, what you have done? Tell me the steps. And generally, the mistake committed, which I personally notice, is the certificate, popularly known as 65B certificate, which is now 63 BSA. In electronic evidence, as you all are aware, that our new laws were implemented on 1st July 2024. And now, electronic evidence is part of the document's definition. And now, electronic evidence is primary evidence and secondary evidence as well. So, earlier it was not like that. It was not like that. It was altogether different. But now it is, electronic evidence is part of document. Whether it is digital or electronic, there is a difference between digital and electronic evidence. Digital evidence is that which can be read. So if some mail is there and you are reading from the screen, it's digital, readable. Electronic evidence which cannot be read unless some expert interpret that. It may be in buffer. Our computer system works on binaries, so that binary combinations may not be readable to us. We need to have the expert. So, in primary evidence, like if some recording is there, you have recorded something by mobile phone. That is the original recording. That is primary evidence. And if you are sending it to somebody else, then it becomes secondary evidence, not primary. And for secondary evidence, you need to have the certification. Next, I'll show you the format of this certificate, which required. Next. Next. बस यहीं लो. This is the part A of the format. Earlier, in old system, we don't have any specific format. But now we do have format, and format is having two parts. Part A and part B. Here, if you see, you may not be able to see. Here, the first part is to be signed by the party. Party means owner, manager. That has to be signed by the party. And there is one line. I state the hash value of the electronic digital record is obtained through the following algorithms. SHI, वगैरह वगैरह. So this has to be filled by a person. So here our counsel may raise a question how a poor guy, manager, would know about hashing. How he would know. He's signing here, and hashing is a job which has to be done by an expert. But here he is signing. So this is the shortcoming in the certificate format itself. Next. Second part of the format is to be filled by the expert. So now we have two parts of the same certificate. Earlier we used to have just one format signed by one person. Now expert and the party. And here we may ask several questions. We can challenge it. Next. Here one point is there. If evidence is not legally obtained, and if that evidence is obtained illegally, generally it happens in case of the evidence which is beyond the country. So in that case, we have a system, doctrine, called fruits of the poisonous tree doctrine. Next, which says tree the illegally obtained evidence is tainted, then anything obtained it, the fruit is also considered tainted and inadmissible. From the illegal source, through illegal source, if you have obtained your digital evidence, that would not be admissible to the court. It is in simple words. Next. So one should always look for asking the person from how you got this evidence. If he says through my personal sources or something or that, and he has not followed the proper procedure as laid down, then we can challenge that. Delayed investigation and prosecution. It happens in want of the response from other country or from the source or elsewhere or from the forensics. So we can take advantage of these delayed investigations and prosecutions. Next. Next. Insufficient evidence due to anonymity of cyber criminals. In fact, investigation, cybercrime investigation is having two parts. The first part is connecting the crime to the system, computer, or whatever semiconductor device is there. That is the first part. The investigation will try to connect criminal with the computer. That is first part. Second part is linking criminal to that computer or semiconductor device. These are the two things. So the first thing, generally agencies are able to connect. But in second part, where a criminal is to be connected with that computer, is generally missing. So this is the gray area where we should really raise questions, raise doubts. Next. Next. This is the section on which I would like to emphasize upon. Section 105 BNSS, भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता. Next, everything, whatever is being seized, whatever is being recovered, need to be audio, video recorded. Everything. Right from planning down to signatures of the witness. Every step need to be recorded. Audio also. Audio is very important. And then it has to be dispatched to the magistrate. So in law, it is written preferably mobile phone. Preferably mobile phone in areas whether the IO is able to really handle the smartphone or he is having the phone. I have checked before coming to this conference. Till date, not a single mobile phone has been given by the government to the IO. So they have to use their own mobile phones. And it may vary in performance. So we should always see the recording of 105 BNSS and try to find out the faults. And previously, a number of courts has given their directions where police was lacking in properly recording audio visually. So this is the area really one should carefully look into. So friends, I am coming to the end because already this much time was given to me. And I am thankful to you. You have given me so much time. Thank you very much. If anybody is having any question, and if they permit, we may reply. Okay, thank you very much.
We are thankful from our. Thank you.
जी बताएं. Jurisdiction जो है एक तो IT एक्ट में है, इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी एक्ट उसमें है, और जो हमारा BNS है, भारतीय जो न्याय संहिता है, उसमें 1(5) में है. और उसमें यह है कि कोई आदमी बाहर बैठ के इंडिया में क्राइम करे तो उसको भी हम जो है बुक कर सकते हैं. ट्रायल के टाइम पे होगा जो कुछ होगा, जब आपको मौका मिलेगा. नहीं, रिकॉर्डिंग ऑफ एविडेंस तो वकील होता ही नहीं, वो तो पुलिस का काम है. वो तो जब आप कोर्ट में आ जाएगा और ट्रायल पे आएगा एंड अपॉर्चुनिटी इज गिवन टू यू, देन यू मे रेज योर कंसर्न्स. ओके, थैंक यू.